Hello, my fellow Americans. Terrible thing going over in Paris today. Makes you kind of wonder why they would want to bring 100,000 Syrian refugees here this year and next year. You know there's going to be a lot of bad apples in there. You know they're going to be getting welfare, they're going to be getting food stamps, probably free housing. Not too smart with 94 million Americans out of work. I realize we're a nation of immigrants, but you know there's never been a time in our country other than the Great Depression and the time of Jimmy Carter's presidency that things have been so bad. The difference between then and now is we have a president that really could care less about this country. I could care less what anybody thinks about what I just said, because all the trends point to that. Do we have facts? Is it written in paper? No. All you got to do though is follow the trending. With all the Muslims that he's put into his offices, with bringing these refugees over here, with all the Palestinians, thousands of them that he's brought from the very first start of his presidency, I'm pretty sure that he's doing his best to bring us down. You imagine with that many people, if just 10% of them are ISIL or Al-Qaeda or whoever, what the rampage that they could be doing in this country. You know, they say there's around 20 ISIL cells or Al-Qaeda cells, terror cells in this country, that they actually know where the camps are. I don't know if that's true. I can't prove that. But if it is true, why would they not be taking them down? Why would they be letting them go? Well, Homeland Security, I believe there's a Muslim running that. So you tell me. But anyways, being a nation of immigrants, if you'll notice my shirt, it says Italia on it. My ancestors on my father's side was from Italy. My grandfather come over here. I don't really know the year. They were all passed away as I was growing up. But you know, Italians went through a lot of crap, just like every other nationality that came here. Italians were beaten in the street. They were considered subhuman. They were considered worse than black people. We used to actually have a sign in our Italian club where they paid people wages by their nationality, and the Italians were on the bottom. During World War II, you'll never hear about this. All you hear about is Japanese intern camps, but there were German-American citizens there, and there were also Italian-American citizens there. So, I mean, we went through a lot of hardships, but we persevered. And that's what America's all about, is persevering. But the other big thing is we also assimilated. Our grandparents not assimilated. You know, my father and all his brothers and sisters were born here in America, and every one of them spoke Italian and English. But through everything that they went through, the hatreds and so forth, I mean, my grandfather, when he first came over, didn't speak a lick of English, and was beaten many times for that, went through a lot of terrible tragedies. Again, I'm just hearing this from all my relatives. I can't prove that, but I believe them. I have no reason to think that they'd be lying to me. But anyways, my father, who I never knew, he died while my mother was carrying me. But all the children of the brothers and sisters were not taught Italian. They wanted to completely assimilate, to be known as Americans. They loved this country, still do. And that's the difference of the immigration today. With all the people coming across the border, all the Spanish and the Mexicans and so forth, people that are coming across the border, they're not really taught to assimilate through this illegal stuff. All these signs, everything that's in Spanish and so forth. You know, my grandparents don't come over. There's no signs in Italian saying where to go, where you go to eat, where to go for housing, what street you're on, and so forth, what food to eat. That's just all a way to tear down the way to assimilate to this country. It's not giving them any incentive to learn English or our culture, and that's what it's all about. Yes, my father's side is from Italy, but I don't consider myself an Italian American. I'm proud of my culture, but I'm an American, 100%, period. I owe no loyalty to Italy whatsoever. Love the country, never been there, like to go there someday, but that's just part of that. So anyways, I would like to know why, with 94 million people out of work, that this president wants to continue bringing refugees here. And I really want to know what's worse than him is the 535 senators and congressmen that don't seem to be putting up a fight about this. Everything that's been going on in the world, the terrorist attacks and so forth, why would we even think of bringing these people here? And I'm going to tell you something. I have compassion for people, but my compassion lies with the American people. My compassion lies with the 94 million people that are out of work and their families that are suffering. I could care less about any immigrant right now coming across. As a matter of fact, if I was president right now, I would stop all immigration for at least 5 years, maybe 10. I would do the best I could to for our economics, drill, get natural resources going here for our oil and our gas and so forth, so that we're not energy independent from the people across the pond. And I'm going to tell you something. Let me just tell you a little thing about that. I'm 64 years old, but when I was a young man, when I was in my 20s, they used to talk then that it would take 10 years to drill and to get the refineries and so forth. Well, guess what? Here we are, 40 years later, and we're not any better off than what we were. So my advice is that you congressmen and the people out there, you better start writing these people. You better start demanding that they stop this refugee crap, that they start drilling, and at the very least, start impeachment processes to get rid of this guy. And I'll tell you right now, we really need a president that can multitask. Someone that will put a very good bunch of people around them to help them in anything that they need help with. And I'll tell you right now, there's only one person in politics today, actually it's not a politician anymore, but she was the governor of Alaska, and that's Governor Sarah Palin. And I'm telling you, look at her record, what she accomplished in 3.5 years. Just to give you an example, I live in Pennsylvania. We've had, not counting our current governor, Tom Wolf, but we've had 4 other governors in the last that served a total of 28 years, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. And all of them together in that 28 years did not do 2% of what she did in 3 years. Now, I posted her record many times on Twitter. I posted it on Facebook. I'm part of the Earthquake group. We have a website, www.palinquake.com, that tells you everything about her amazing economical record, her energy record, her battle on crony capitalism. Boy, I'll tell you, that's a new word for everybody to be talking there, these candidates. They didn't even know what the word was till Governor Palin brought it out. You know, they had that in Alaska big time, and she stopped that. They had what they called the Corrupt Bastards Club. They pretty much let the oil companies write their laws up there. They'd just pass them, give them a go, wouldn't drill. Well, Governor Palin made Exxon, who held leases up there for 30 years, she said, you're either going to drill or we're taking your leases away. They threatened her with court action. She told them she knew the way to the courthouse. And you know what? She won. She did ethical reform that stopped crony capitalism. And you know what that is? That's where your congressmen and your senators make deals with all the lobbyists and so forth, get money from them, and steer votes their way. That's crony capitalism, and that's run rampant down in Washington, D.C. You wonder why they don't want to do anything? Well, Governor Palin stopped that too. There were actually people in the Republican Party that went to jail. And you wonder why they don't want her as president? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Just one other thing too. The last 2 presidents we had have been Harvard and Columbia people. These really smart, intelligent people. Well, those really smart, intelligent people put us $20 trillion in debt. 4 of them by Bush and the rest by this idiot that's running our country today. You think this idiot isn't trying to destroy this country? Economic breakdown, that's the easiest way to do it. And he's on the fast track. So anyways, with those 2 bright stars that put us $20 trillion in debt, you have a real bright northern star in Alaska that got Alaska out of debt, had 2 credit upgrades from her fiscal policies. She got rid of practically 80% of the earmarks up there. She reduced her debt liabilities by 34%. Now you start adding all those things up, and that's somebody that should be president. And that's all I have to say about that. Have a great day, America.